Today is Tuesday, August 13. I'm Pastor Michael, and this is Wilderness Wanderings. The text comes from Isaiah 19. The fishermen will groan and lament, all who cast hooks into the Nile. Those who throw nets on the water will pine away. Those who work with combed flax will despair. The weavers of fine linen will lose hope. The workers in cloth will be dejected, and all the wage earners will be sick at heart. Verse 8 to 10. Rarely is Isaiah 19 used as a preaching text, let alone for devotionals. The NIV editors gave the title, A Prophecy Against Egypt, to this chapter. It can be summarized simply as, the God of Israel is coming, Egypt is in trouble. What does it say to us today? It's important to pay attention to the opening words. The God of Israel is coming, and the idols of Egypt tremble. In the ancient culture, the gods were everything. The Pharaohs of Egypt considered themselves children of the gods. All power flowed through them and from them. Politics and religion were one and the same. Also, everything in Egypt depended on the Nile and its yearly flood. Egyptians believed that their gods controlled the Nile. So if the Nile dried up and commerce failed, it meant the gods were unhappy with their worshippers or had lost battle against other gods. But this chapter offers a different perspective. Egypt's gods and politicians are out of sync with the purposes of God Almighty, the God of Israel. Therefore, God is coming to judge them. Such chapters remind us that when people neglect God, there will be trouble, judgment. Nations have always done this and will continue to do so until Jesus returns. No nation or political leader can fully embody the kingdom of Jesus. Certain policies may align partially with God's shalom, but we are reminded that all human policies are flawed. This should give us pause in our politics. As citizens of democratic nations, we are called upon to vote in elections. However, we should give limited and somewhat muted support to any political leaders, regardless of party affiliation. We must put our hope in God, not in the politics or politicians of this world. In the end, God will judge all nations, and all will be found wanting. Despite the effort to separate politics and religion, for decades North American Christians have attempted to use political machinations to enshrine their preferred policies into law. We sometimes use power moves to ensure our candidates are elected, believing that these good-intentioned folk can set things right. The ends do not justify the means. The Bible warns us against this. And only God can save by the way of Jesus. There's also this. God's judgment is never an end in itself. Our God doesn't judge just because. Rather, he comes in judgment in the hope that people will return to him. Towards the end of the chapter, we read, In that day there will be an altar to the Lord in the heart of Egypt, and a monument to the Lord at its border. Verse 19. Egypt will become a major contributor to the things of God. There is gospel in this chapter. After her exodus, Israel was banned from any dealings with Egypt. She was not to return there or look to her for aid. Yet, the final salvation of God is so thorough that it will be populated by people from all nations, including Egyptians. These prophecies give content to our prayers and spur us on to love the outsider. As you journey on, go with the blessing of God. May the peace of the Lord Christ go with you wherever he may send you. May he guide you through the wilderness, protect you through the storm. May your day end with rejoicing at the wonders he has shown you. May you rest in his provision as he brings night and then new dawn.